This is Alexia Bolin with Cola Daily, and today in the studio with me is Mary Addison Yates. She is a certified life coach and CEO and founder of Journey to Empowerment. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So before we get started, I know today we're focusing on New Year's resolutions, but can you tell me a little bit about Journey to Empowerment and how you started this business?
It was a journey, definitely a journey, and I was a dental assistant for 20 years. And I knew it wasn't my true calling, but my favorite thing about being a dental assistant was coaching the patients to have a good experience. And when the pandemic shut our office down for 6 weeks in 2020, I just had this overwhelming feeling of like I needed to step away and spend time with my kids. They were 8 at the time. I have boy-girl twins. And so like I just prayed about it and thought about it, and I ended up retiring from dentistry and was like, okay, now what? I absolutely love it. And it's different from like therapy or consulting. Coaching is getting you from point A to point B and really defining like where you want to be, and I don't have to be the expert. Like, you're the expert. Mm-hmm. I get to intuitively and strategically guide you by asking questions so you can find your own answers to get to where you want to go, and then have that accountability and that cheerleader to, be there by your side.
Okay. And so today we're talking about New Year's resolutions. And so a lot of people make these resolutions, and like you say, maybe it is to get from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times they don't stick. So why is it that New Year's resolutions don't seem to stick?
Well, I mean, the first thing about setting some sort of goal is figuring out like, what is your inspiration? What is, asking yourself the questions, is this going to make me happy? Why do I think it's going to make me happy? Because the reason we set goals is to achieve something, to feel successful, and to, arrive at this place. But a lot of times people are living other people's dreams, like their parents, or what they think people, expect of them. And also people think like, oh, when I get to the top of this job, I'm going to be happy. They get there and then it's like, now what? I'm still empty. So knowing your big why, and also knowing that you're going to come across like, it's gonna get mundane. You start out, you're all gung-ho, you're like, I'm gonna do it, so excited. And then you get in this pattern of, say, if you're going to the gym to lose weight or to gain muscle or whatever it is, and you don't want to go to the gym every day. So really having that accountability also, which is why I love coaching so much. And I have my own coach because having that accountability and someone to cheer you on along the way really helps you succeed. Also celebrating the small wins. So when you set up that SMART plan, you have you kind of decide, like, you break it down by like milestones and then tasks, and then what could possibly get in the way of this. And also, you have to keep score and track it. And then you want to celebrate your wins, because that kind of gives you that dopamine and that excitement to be like, okay, I'm doing it. And you can actually see your progress. And a lot of times we don't celebrate our wins. And so we're just going next, and we just kind of fade out. Like, what's the point? We forget the whole reason behind it.
With New Year's resolutions, a lot of people this year are saying set intentions, not goals. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I think it's part of setting the goal, right? So what is your intention for setting the goal? So, if you want to see your results, goals are like, how do you define your success? If you set an intention to do something, what's the point of that? And how do you ensure that you're going to actually live by that intention. And I think that's where goal setting comes in. And all of those ways that you can achieve the goals, and defining like, what does success look like that? What does living by intention mean to me?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Mary Addison. How can people find you if they have more questions about New Year's resolutions and just if they need any sort of life coaching?
Yes, you can email me at mary-addison@journeytoempowerment.com. I am on Facebook at Mary Addison Yates, and my website is journeytoempowerment.com with the letter 2, or the number 2, excuse me.
Great. This is Alexia Bolin with Cola Daily, reporting from our Cola Daily studio.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back, everyone. Now we are in the studio with Ed Chappell. He is a certified life coach and confidence coach. Thank you for being here today, Ed.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me today.
So a lot of times when we are looking at New Year's resolutions, a lot of times they don't last. Can you kind of tell us why?
Well, because I think that's the whole idea behind it. We make a New Year's resolution, and if we think about the word resolution, there was a problem prior, right? Resolution is solution to a problem. So once we identify the problem and make the resolution, we make short-term resolutions. So I like to look at it as if when we're making a goal, let's say one of your resolutions is to get more focused because you want to get into a particular career field. We have to remember, we have to set the intermediate goals that get us to the overall goal. So I think the resolution, we think is something that we're going to be able to attack by the end of the new year. By Q2, people are usually gassed out, but it's the small incremental things that to get to that actual resolution that are not focused on first. So I think if we can focus on small incremental wins, like for example, if you told me you want to be a real estate investor, right? We might not say I want to be a real estate investor, it needs to be done immediately. We might say, okay, Q1, we're going to focus on getting you the curriculum, getting you in the actual training so you can begin. Then Q2, we focus on, hey, maybe we introduce you to hard money, introduce you to other things to get into it. Q3, maybe you shadow someone, and by Q4, you're the real estate investor you want to be. A lot of people don't break down their resolutions in bite-sized pieces like that.
So a lot of times they're trying to go towards the end goal, like right away. And how do we stick to kind of our timeline to get to our resolution? Do you have any kind of like journaling? Like, what are your recommendations for getting to those resolutions?
First of all, we have to make a realistic resolution based on the equities we have available. For example, you want to create a resolution or a set of goals that can work with your time availability, with your financial availability as well. So you might not say, hey, what I want to do is focus on opening a gym if you know you're in here working from 9 to 5 every single day. But with your time equity, you can maybe divert that into saying, I want to try to get my personal training license first. Then I want to take on a couple clients on the weekend. Then making money from that, I save up, and then I'm able to go into it full time. Then I'm able to open my gym. So that's how I think we need to focus on those.
And what about accountability? Do you think it's more important to kind of keep these resolutions to yourself, kind of have private resolutions, or share them with others, like life coaches, family, friends? How do you feel about that with accountability?
That's a great question. I think that depends on the individual. So me personally, I find strength, and I tell my clients to find strength, and it's okay to put it out there. It's okay because sometimes we are our biggest critics. So someone can look at you and think you're doing excellent, but you look back at it in your personal view of things, and you don't think you're doing as well. So sometimes those accountability partners, like maybe telling a mom or telling a family member or telling a friend, they're able to then say, okay, this is what you say you're going to do. Great job. You've achieved this much. But sometimes when you keep it all to yourself, what happens is when you don't think you've gotten the results you have no one else to keep you motivated on the outside as well. So I think it is good to share with life coaches, with, close friends that are going to have your best intentions. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And with these goals, do you think, with intentions, with goals, do you think it's more important to set short-term goals? Or for example, New Year's resolutions, we expect them to last a full year.
Mm-hmm.
So is it important to make small goals and more time measurable goals as well?
Correct, because that's where you celebrate those wins all throughout. You understand what I mean? You have to celebrate those wins in the in-between. So you can have a New Year's resolution. In other words, by December 31st of 2023, when the clock strikes midnight and those fireworks go off, this is what I want to achieve this year. But what is the blueprint to achieve it? I can't just say I want to be an award-winning swimmer without learning how to swim, without learning the breathing techniques, without learning the actual equipment I will need. You need those processes first before you can get to the end of that resolution. So it is important to have resolutions, but it is important to celebrate those short-term wins in between as well.
So we spoke with Mary Addison and Ed today, which are two life coaches helping us to figure out how to make obtainable goals for the new year and for our New Year's resolutions. Be sure to visit holydaily.com for the full story, and thank you for watching.